Hi, everyone, and you are welcome to the Excel class. So if you can hear me, can you type in the chat box that you can hear me? All right, perfect. So can you see my screen, which is the Excel? Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you type on the chat box if you can see my screen, which is the Excel? All right, perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's start the class. And just like what we started with last week, to refresh your memory. So we started with rows. I said these are rows, these are columns, and these are rows. And I said the intersection between the row and column is called a cell. So, and I told you that if you want to name this cell now, this is H, then you look at the number here, which is H2, and we discuss some other things. So today, we are going to be looking at data cleaning and organization. And part of data cleaning is sorting and filtering, removing duplicates, and also changing text to column, changing text to column. So now, this data, it looks messy. I deliberately left it like this. I deliberately left it to look messy like this because if you are working if you are a data analyst and you are working in a company, you might meet the data like this because probably it was from their database and it was in Excel like this. So how do you clean it? How do you sort it out? So the first thing I expect you to do is come here. As you can see my icon, you can see that this is changing to plus, and this is changing to like a hand icon, and this is changing to a full plus. So left click on your laptop and drag it so that you can see the name in full, the full name in full. And also come up here, drag it so that you can see email. Come up here again, drag it so that you can see phone number. Come up here again, drag it, you can see date of birth. Come up here again, drag it, you can see address. Okay, this one is just random data and it might not be needed. Now, if you want to sort, so for example, if you are given this data and your stakeholder said, can we have this data sorted in alphabetical order, please? So all you need to do is to click on this. Now, you might meet the data that it is not filtered, so you need to click on the filter, which is up here. Click on filter here. So when you click on filter, then you come here and say sort from A to Z and sort from Z to A. So A to Z is ascending order and Z to A is descending order. So if your manager says, please, can we sort this data? I want to have the names in alphabetical order. So you know that you are using, they will not tell you that A to Z because they don't understand. What they will tell you is, I want this data sorted in alphabetical order. So which is A to Z. So you are the one that know that alphabetical order means A to Z. So let me attempt to solve. If you look at it now, it is not in alphabetical order before. So let me attempt to solve it in alphabetical order. So this is in alphabetical order. As you can see, it has changed to alphabetical order. So what if I want to change it to start from in descending order? So descending order is Z to A. So I can click on it like this and it will start with Z. So I can use this method that is here when I click on this, and I can also use the method that is here, that is sort by A to Z, sort from Z to A. That is from highest to the lowest. But the fastest route is when you come here, just click on A to Z and click from Z to A. So let's return the text back to A to Z. So if you want to, now this data now contains some duplicates, just like I taught you last week that you can know the count of the number of data. So we have 500 down here, we have the count to be 511 data. That's the number of data that we have here. So if we want to know the number of duplicates here, all I need to do is to come to data. So when I come to data, I will click on remove duplicates. Now, if I want to remove duplicates from all the columns, I can click on, okay, the duplicate I want to remove is just the full name, and I can uncheck all of this. But by doing unselect all, and if I want to select all, I can click all. And if I just want to select some few parts that are duplicates, that is what I'm going to select. And ensure that you check this, don't uncheck it. Because if you uncheck it, what you are saying is that it should also remove duplicates from your column, which is your headers, full name, email, and stuff like that. But you know that your table, that is your data, has headers. So you select all from here and you click OK to remove duplicates. So you can see it said 10 duplicates were found and removed. So 500 unique values remain. Note that the count may also include empty cells. So if we come back here again now and look at the counts, we can see that it is what? 501. So the reason why it is 501 is because it is calculating the first row, is calculating it with it. And that is why we have 501. I believe that you understood me now. So we have removed duplicates. What does duplicate mean? It's just like repetition, like we don't need duplicates. For example, some of you in the website, when we created the website, I found some duplicates. So while I was cleaning the data, I removed duplicates. Some of you might register twice. Some of you registered twice because you felt you did not receive that email. So if I have a data analyst now that is working in my company, and I tell that person to clean the data, so what I expect that person to do is to first of all remove what? Duplicates. Because duplicates are not needed. Duplicates will just make your data to be redundant, and they are not needed in the data. So also, every company have data quality issues. And so you are expected that when they say you should clean the data, when you see duplicates, you're expected to remove those duplicates in the data. Now let's move on. So what if one of your stakeholders also told you that, please, in the data, in the website that we gave, we didn't separate first name and we didn't separate it in another column. Can you please help us separate the full names? That is, can you please help us separate the first name and the last name? That is what your stakeholder have asked you. So it's still part of data cleaning. So how do we do that? How do we separate these names? So all you need to do is to click on this column. So when you click on this column, go to data, and this is data. Then you go to text to columns. text to columns. So click on text to columns. Now, let me go back here. Let me go back again. Let me select everything. You have to select everything up here, because if you select one, it's just going to do one for you. So let me select everything. Now, click on text to column. You can see that I can view my data here. Now, don't click on fixed width, because that will not separate it for you. Leave it as delimited. Then click on next. Now, the limiters here is showing that how is your data separated. Now, if you look at this place, the data is separated by what? Space. Your data can be separated by a comma. Your data can be separated by semicolon. Your data can be separated by a tab. But this data was separated by space. So I will click on space. So when I click on space, then I click on next. Now, you need to look at this place very well. It's asking for destination. I believe you can see this. It's asking for destination. That is where you want it to split your data, where you want this full name to be splitted. However, I don't want it to be splitted on the A1. I don't want it to replace it, because I still want to retain the full name. So if I still want to retain the full name, all I need to do is to change this to G, because there are space in this row, in this column. Then I will click on finish. So if you look at my data now, you can see that it is already separated. So I can change this to first name, and also change this to last name. So I can change this to first name and change this to last name. Now, if I want it to come to this side, that is, I want my data to be closer to the full name. So all I need to do is to insert an entire column, then insert an entire column again. So then I do like this, Control C to copy here, then I paste it here. So I have my first name there. Then also, I go to my last name. And come here again and paste it. Control V to paste. You can also use, you can right click and use cut, because I don't need it there again. Then paste it there. Then I can delete this because it's not needed again. So you can see from this place, I've separated both the first name and the last name, which is a good one. Now, for example, your manager as well can also ask you to, maybe they want to know the number of Yahoo Mail. That is, they want to know the number of people that are using Yahoo Mail. They want to know the number of people that are using Gmail. They want to know the number of people that are using, that probably are using their own email. So if they want to know that, you can also use text to column. So in doing that, let me move this insert and have another column here. And that is, they want to know the number of people. Is possible. They might want to know the number. I've told you that data analysis is informing. It's like you are informing people, you are informing your stakeholders about the data. You are informing people about the data. And like I said, this is a fake data. So they are not real. All these names are not real. So that don't read too much meaning to it. It's a fake data. They are not real at all. So don't read too much meaning to it. And all these numbers are not real. So that you will not go and snap and try to call the number. Maybe the number is going to go. They are not real numbers. And all these date of birth as well. They are not real date of birth. They are not real date of birth. So take note of that, please. Now, let's try to separate it. Let's try to separate this. So you come here again and go to text to column. Now, sometimes it might be separated by space. You know, for our full name was separated by space. Now, if you look at this place, it wasn't separated by space. It was separated by what? At. And that is where I deliberately wanted to give this so that I can explain how you can use order. So that is why you will now check order and uncheck space. Then you will type at here. You can see down here, you can preview that it has, you can preview it down here where my cursor is and see that this is how it's going to look like. It has already separated it. So you have people that are using Yahoo Mail, you have people that are using Hotmail, you have people that are using and stuff like that. So I click on next. Now he's asking me where I want it to be loaded. Now don't forget that is why I created E and F. So here I am going to click on E. Now if you make a mistake, because I know some of you can make a mistake, and probably let me leave it here first. And so maybe you made a mistake and go and press your cursor to this place, and you now press maybe your left arrow or your right arrow. You can see that it's changing. You now be like, what happened to me? So to avoid that, ensure that you click and don't use the left or the left, or if you don't pick it to this cursor, I mean, if you don't pick it to that place, because what the $ is doing, what it means is that absolute, so that it will not break. So don't use both your left or right arrows at all. So just backspace like that, then E. This is the E cell that we need there. Then click on finish. No, I don't want it to replace it. That means that it's saying another thing. What I want is E. Let's go back to the data again and do it again. So yeah, add next. So now, okay, still seeing D here, and that's where the problem lies. So like I said, ensure that don't use your left and right arrows. Bring the cursor back here and click on it, then backspace E, then click on finish. So you can see that it has already separated. So you have email and you have a domain name. So from this place now, you can look at different domain names that are registered with the company. So these are all the different domain names that are registered with the company. And from what I taught you last week, you can sum if it is Yahoo, you can do that. Sum if it is Gmail. So you can try that at home. Some if it is Arlene.net, from what I taught you last week. So if you don't know how to do it, go and watch that video again. Some if it is Anderson.com. So you can use that to know all the domain name that registered with you. Now let's go to the date of birth. So for example, now, if here, this is date of birth here again. If your manager wants to know the number of people that were possibly born, like you want to separate the years. So he wants to know the people that were born after 2000, the people that were born below 2000, below the year 2000. He wants to know their different age. I'm telling you that's why I'm trying to explain to you how you can use it in the industry now. Because I could have just explained that this is what text to column means. But I'm just telling you instances of how you will be applying it, because I know somebody last week asked that, okay, how am I going to apply these things? So if you are given this data and you are asked to, can we know the number of people that were born after 2000 years, after year 2000, and people that were born before 2000. So to make it easy for you, just like I did here, just create another column, insert another column, then insert another column again. So all you need to do is click here again, then text to column. Now delimited, then click on next. Now, we don't have any option here. It was separated by what? By a slash. So because it was separated by a slash, you delete this and click on slash. You can see that it's already separated. But they are separated into 3 and not 2. So we can come back, cancel. Let's create another column so that we can have them together. So let's create another column here. So then click on H back, text to column, next. Now I've already added it here, which is the slash, then click on next. Now it's standing on H, but I don't want it to replace it. Now, depending on what your stakeholder wants, they might say that, oh, we don't even need the date of birth again, just separate everything. Separate both the day and separate the months. Separate the day and the months and the year. So because, so that you won't say that, oh, every time you don't need to replace it. If they say they don't need it again, that is that separation that is needed, then you can use this. But if you still need that data, then you have to change it. So I'm changing this to I now. I'm changing this to I. Then I click on finish. So you can see that it has already changed. And I can rename this to the days, rename this to months, rename this to year. Now, if they probably need those that were born in a month, before I did the separation, you could have well convert this. You know, I taught you last week, you convert it to dates. You convert it from year to dates, and it will change. Whether you want a long date or a short date is going to change for you. So here already now, you can see the number of years. So if you want to count the number of people that were born after year 2000, if they say after year 2000, so what they mean is 2001 upward. If they mean 2000 and below, what they mean is 2000, that is less than or equal to 2000. So that is where all those things work. Less than or equal to 2000. So that is how they work. Before I go on, let me see if we have any question. I still have some other things to say, but let me know the number of questions I have before I continue. We don't have this Excel cell. Yes, I'm going to send it to you. I will send it to the group. If you have any question, quickly drop it. I want to know the number of questions I have before I continue. We don't have this Excel file. Yeah, I'm going to drop it. How do we remove duplicates? That means you probably means when I said duplicates. When I'm doing the roundover, when I'm trying to collate what I've taught you, I will do that again. And if you miss it, then go and rewatch it on the YouTube. Please give us a sample to clean. Yes, I will give you a data. I will give you like this same data that is unclean. I will not give you the cleaned one so that you can test it and also clean it. Sir, please, we need the file. Yes, I will give you the file. Don't worry. Are you pressing right click or left click when you want to create another column? It's a right click. You click on the right click, and when you right click, it will give you the details. It's just like the right click it's a normal right click. You know that right clicking will give you details. Coach, are we going to be using different data for each class? Now, the reason why I like this question is a good question. The reason why, okay, are we going to be using different data for each class? The reason why I didn't use the previous data was because that data was a messy data. That data was a clean data, sorry. And to explain a data that is not cleaned, to explain data cleaning, then I have to give a messy data, that is an unclean data, so that I can clean it and tell you that, okay, yes, this is how to clean a data. This is how to remove duplicates and stuff like that. Coach, please, I need the file to work on. I said I'm going to send it. Or can you tell us where to get fake data? I've already given you sites. That means you are not here last week. I gave a different, can the class captain possibly repost it on the WhatsApp group? I gave you people different sites to create fake data. But the data I'm using is not gotten from either Kaggle or anything. I use Python to create my own fake data. And if you are in Python class, although we are not going to get to that, because that is advanced on creating fake data, that is advanced. So do we need to create a new sheet and copy the old data into the new sheet in case we make a mistake or the data if given by a company? Yes, I will advise that. Now, if it depends, you can duplicate the data on another sheet so that you don't make mistake. If you know that, okay, probably you are still practicing, you can duplicate it on another sheet and try to clean that data. And now, one good practice of data quality is that every step that you took, you have to explain it. Every step you took in the data cleaning, you have to explain it. You have to tell the not the stakeholders now, I mean your colleagues, how you clean the data, what you did to ensure that the data was cleaned, how you separate it, all the processes. That is what we call transparency. Then just an addition, as a data analyst, always try to create a copy of original data. As a data analyst, always try to create a copy of the original data you work on in case you make a mistake so that it doesn't affect. It's not every time. It's not every time. I think it just depends on your level of expertise or anything. At the moment, I don't create another copy if I'm working on in my company's data. I don't create another copy. I don't create another copy on an original data. I just work on it because I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do. Is it advisable to delete all columns that will not inform our decision making? No, it is not advisable to delete it. You don't delete columns. You don't delete column with a company. No, you don't delete it. Even if it's not going to do anything with your decision making, you don't delete it, because obviously you are not going to share how you did it to the stakeholders. What you are sharing is, okay, we have this number of, you are not presenting the Excel sheet to them most of the time, except when we get to pivot tables, except when you are presenting a pivot tables. So most of the time you are presenting just numbers. They just want numbers. Oh, how many people were born in year 2000 out of the people that out of the people in our database? How many people were born in 2000 and above, year 2000 and above? So all they need is just numbers. They don't need any other thing. They need numbers. They don't know anything. Most of the stakeholders, they don't know anything about computer. They don't know anything about Excel, and they don't want to know. All they need is numbers. They just want to know how many people were born in the year 2000. Can you please tell us how many people were born in the year 2000? Can you please tell us how many people registered for this course? Period. That is what they want to know. It's just numbers to inform them. So you don't have any right to delete anything that will not inform them, because what you any column you delete, it might still be what you will need in future. Will you explain via a Word document? It depends on what your company wants. If you are working, sometimes you just need to send an email to the stakeholder because it's just numbers. But if you are presenting pivot tables, we are going to get to pivot tables. I think pivot tables is week 5. Yes, pivot tables is week 5. So when we get to pivot tables, you might need to present your work in pivot tables to them in Excel. So, but if you are giving numbers, I mean, if you are giving a whole lot of numbers and you are just sending it to the stakeholder through an email, you might decide to use a Word document. All this depends on what the organization uses, what you met. So I can't give a general answer for that. I can't give a general answer for it. So I think I'm done with questions. All right. Let me move on. If you still have any other question, you can still type it. So now, another thing you can look for when you are cleaning data is if there are blank columns. That is, if there are missing, for example, now, if we have some blank columns in this data, how do we know that? We go to find and select. So if we go to find and select, we go to special. Then it can tell us if we have any blanks. So it will inform us now if we have any blanks. So at the moment, there are no blanks because it's going to show if there are blanks as I click on blank. So the only blanks are the columns. So we don't have any blank in the data. That means we don't have any missing variables in the data. We don't have any missing variables in the data or missing records in the data. Yes, that's what the person is saying. So all you need to do is click on this, go to find and select, go to special, add their blanks. Then click on OK. So you can see it's only showing blank down. So that means that there are no blanks in the data. So if there are blank, let me try to introduce blank here. Let me try to introduce missing record. And possibly the person is having maybe the first name is missing, the email is missing, but the phone number is not missing. and the date of birth is not missing as well. Now, so if I should click on this alone and say find missing data, find missing record, it is still going down because that is where it is. So if I should search this, find missing records, now you can see it is here. Now, there could be a lot of situations whereby you can have missing data, and this is where you need to communicate to your stakeholders, because some people will say delete missing records. In a real life data, you don't delete missing records. You don't delete missing records. The reason why we have missing records is sometimes is majorly due to data quality of that company. Maybe they didn't enforce some data validation in the website, but every company that knows they have data quality issues, they always have a backup. So there will always be somebody you will go to when you have a missing record that has the record at hand, and that is the person you are going to go to, and you are going to fill in the missing records. So take note of that. If you go and if you watch some data cleaning methods, they will tell you that delete missing records. In every organization, missing records are not deleted. You don't delete missing record. You fill in missing records. Data validation versus data normalization, are they the same thing? That is part of the scope. I don't know why this person is asking this question. They are different. I will answer you actually, but so that it will not bring out further questions. What data validation does is, let me explain data validation to you now. If I'm registering on this website now, what data validation does is that I ensure that this person, if I don't put the dates on the website, I ensure that this person always puts in the day, always put in the month, and put in the year. So on the background, the data validation code I have, we ensure that if this is not if this is not complete, then you will not be able to submit the form. And so that is why you will see that if you don't fill your first name in some forms on some websites, you will not be able to submit the form. So that is data validation. So they have enforced some data validation on that website. So if you don't fill your first name, you will not be able to submit the form. But when it comes to data normalization is quite different. And that is more or less like database. It's more or less like removing duplicates. Although they are related, part of what ensures data normalization is data validation, but they are different because data normalization is to normalize a data by removing duplicates. So how they link up is they are methods of removing duplicates. That is how they link up. But is what that question that was asked, the reason why I answered it is because if I say I'm not answering, people might say he doesn't know it. But I read computer science. I did my master's in computer science by the grace of God. I did my master's in data science. So I know what data normalization is. I know what data validation is. So that is why we have SQL. And those of you that you are in SQL training, that is why we have a relational database. So it is data normalization that brings about a relational database. Are there procedures to follow when cleaning a data? There are no real procedures to follow, when you are cleaning the data, but you have to check for duplicates. You have to check for, it depends on what the stakeholder wants. You have to check for duplicates. You have to check for missing records. Then also, when it comes to cleaning of data, you have to also normalize the data types. That is changing, like this date of birth now, changing it to dates, and stuff like that. So it depends on what the stakeholder wants, but majorly ensure that you know what they want on how to clean the data. So they will always tell you what they want. Like I said, if they told you, they will just tell you that, oh, is there a way to separate this first name and last name? You are not to tell them that, oh, I will use test to colon. That's between you and yourself, because you don't need to tell them the method. Just do it yourself. And so they can just request that, can we have all the domain name that registered, the domain emails, the domain name of all the emails that register with us. And you yourself, you just know that, oh, this is the method I'm going to use. So it's just a way. There's no fast rule to it. Yes, okay. I tried to close my Excel window, but it kept saying that there's a dialog box open. Yeah, let me tell you what is happening there. What just happened there is that, now look at what just happened. Let me come here. Now, if I try to close this now up here, it will tell me that I have a dialog box open too. You can, my own type of Excel will not tell me that, but maybe your own version, you can see it's making noise that I can't close it. So all you need to do is, maybe you have opened a lot of Excel sheets on your what's it called? Let me open another blank Excel sheet now. And let me come here and come here like this. Then let me come here and close this. You can see it will not close. That is because I have opened something here. So go to all the Excel sheets you have opened and close all the dialog box that you have opened. Then when you close it, it's possible that you have opened a lot of Excel sheets. So when you close it, your Excel sheet is going to close. So come here, go to all the different Excel sheets that you have opened and go and close the dialog box. So when you close the dialog box, the Excel sheet that you have opened will close. Any difference between concatenate and text to column? Yeah, there are differences. Concatenate, you are bringing those, you are bringing what was separated, you are bringing it together. And for text to column, you are separating them. So I believe that you understand that now. Go to all the Excel sheets that you have opened, open them one by one. Scroll down here, you'll see all the Excel sheets that you have opened, then click on it, then close all those dialog box that was opened. Then you'll be able to close the Excel sheets. Any other question? All right. Any difference between concats? Is there a way we can call up text to column function? I'm not sure I understand that question. Maybe you can rephrase. So let me quickly do like an overview of what I just taught you today. So I started with sorting, and I said that the way you use sorting, is that you sort from A to Z, that is in alphabetical order. Then you sort in descending order. So your stakeholder might say, I want the data to be sorted in alphabetical order. So it is you that you know the alphabetical order is from A to Z. Then there is this sorting that is also here. Now, your stakeholder might say that I didn't go through that one the other time. I want everybody that their name have Aaron. So you can use begin with if your stakeholder says, I want everybody that their name starts with Aaron. So let's do that. Let's sort with that. You can see. So we have brought only people that their name starts with Aaron. So, and what if, now, if you want to uncheck it back, just uncheck it. And let's have it back. So either you can also say that does not contain, end with, you can practice all those at home. That's advanced sorting actually. And they might ask you, okay, we just want people that their name starts with A. We just want people that their last name starts with this and that. So, and I also explain how we can remove duplicates. I just go to click on your data and go to data. Then from here, you remove duplicates, click on remove duplicates, and it will remove the duplicate for you. It will tell you the number of duplicates. It will tell you the number of duplicates that were in the cell, and the duplicates are already gone. Then I also explain text to column by separating. If you want to separate this, the first name and the last name, you want to separate the this one to you want to separate this one to email. Now, here again, instead of using, because there is no fast and hard rule, if you are needing only people that were born in 2000 years and above, so you can say here that contains 200. So you know that anyone that contains 200, they are born in year 2000 and above. Can you say it? So everybody that is here they were born in year 2000 and above. That is another form of sorting and filtering. So does not contain, I just use contain here. So but the reason why this is, if you want to use this for months, you have to convert all the months here to alphabets. That is, it will not be 03, it will be March, April, so that you can just say, okay, all the tests that contains March, and you can try that at home yourself. So you know all the records of people that were born in the month of March. So for example, if you are handling employee database, and towards the end of February, towards the end of every month, maybe they celebrate the birthdays of everybody on each day. They want to know people that were born in the month of March. So you can just say contains March, and that will list the number of people that were born in the month of March, and you can send it to your stakeholders. Will you teach us how to create data for an organization? I don't need to teach you how to create data for an organization. No, a data analyst does not create data for an organization. In the organization, you have data already. So you have to deal with the data in that organization. You don't create data for an organization, no. When I started, That means probably you didn't attend the webinar, or probably you have not been following me. I said that where you are working at the moment, they have a database. Where either even if you are a student, they have a database as well. And so when you are a data analyst, you don't create a database for an organization. You work with the data of that organization. You don't create a database for an organization. You work with the database of that, with the data of that organization, and you inform them based on the data of that organization. So when are you going to give us a practical assignment? When I'm going to give you a practical assignment on everything that we have learned together at the end of the module, not in between. So it will be, so the questions I'm going to be asking are going to be everything that we have done. So it's going to come in form of a project. So everything that you have learned is going to come in form of a project. You are going to do it one by one. And that's why you have if you have to remove duplicates, you have to do all those things and practice it yourself. So part of it will be pivot tables. Part of it, you will have to use conditional formatting. Because next week we are going to talk about conditional functions. Part of it as well will be using VLOOKUPs and the likes. So I'm not going to give you separately. So with that, in case there is no other question, we have come to the end of this class. I'm going to drop the YouTube video 24 to 48 hours after this class. So by next week, we are going to look at using the conditional functions, such as the if statement, the logical statements of and conditions for data visualizations. So if you don't have any other question, and if you enjoyed the class, just give me a reaction. Okay, somebody is still asking a question. Say, can we use right formula to separate to left? I'm not sure I got that question. Can we use rights to separate or left? Separate what? What are we separating? We still have time. Maybe you should type it, sir. Okay, can we use right formula to separate names? I don't understand that right formula that you meant. Are you talking about using formula to separate names? Yes, different formulas can be used to separate names instead of using text to column, but I just felt that looks okay. Yeah, different formulas can be used to separate names. Yes, right function. Yes, different formulas can be used to separate names. Okay, yeah. No, I don't delete the YouTube video. As long as you have the link, you can watch it anytime you want to watch it. The only thing is that I didn't make it public. It's only when you have the link, and that's why you must be in the WhatsApp group. You must have registered. It's only when you have the link with you, that's when you can watch. You can't Google it. You will not see it. I didn't make it public. That's the only thing. I didn't make it public. How do you use absolute in formula entry? That was last week. Go and watch last week's video. It was not part of what we discussed today. Absolute is used so that there will not be repetition. Absolute formula, which are the $sign, so that there will not be repetition. I spoke about it last week. So we can use the right function, but I just taught you the easiest, which is the text to column. So with that, we come to the end of this class. And I believe that the reaction shows that you have, all of you have enjoyed the class. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining, and see you next week. Bye for now.